1, 2, 3, check, check, check. All right, we're live. I'm Glenn, City Battle and Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube, and well, this is going to be our third try at this live stream, but let's give it a shot. All right, so this round, let's talk about fly fishing. What do I need to do to get started fly fishing? And well, let's keep it simple. We're going to take the average Joe perspective, and well, let's go look online. We're going to go take a look at Google. So here I did a Google search. What do I need to fly fish? And what I noticed was right off the bat, you get this sponsored deal here. If you click on it, you end up going to a like some place in Montana, I think, where you can go fishing and hire a guide and whatnot, and it gives you a whole list of equipment to bring. Not from an average Joe standpoint. So let's go on to the next item. And right here, I saw this one, Fly Fishing for Beginners, a complete guide. And in there, I took a look at it and got some good information here that if I was getting started, I think this article would have been very helpful. Just taking a look at some of the other things. Excuse me. Just taking a look at other things. What do I need to start fly fishing right here? You've got other similar questions that you can look up, and well, good to know. So let's just go back to this first look at the Fly Fishing for Beginners, a complete guide. And this one was posted online by Blue Ridge Mountain Life right here. And well, let's go and scroll down and see what things we can take away if we needed to get started in fly fishing. What do I need? So right off the bat, I can see it gives a little quick intro about fly fishing. We'll skip over that. It gives a quick rundown of different things within the article itself that seem useful. And then looking at the article itself, I see Fly Fishing for Beginners and showing a rod, learn about fly fishing, and then you get to the meat of it where it's saying basic fly fishing equipment. Right here it's talking about first thing to do is just getting all your equipment and gear. And right here I do like this. What's the basic equipment that you need? A fly rod, a fly reel, fly fishing line. That fly fishing line has backing as well as a fly line, a leader, and a tippet. And I like later on in the video, or at least in the article, that it talks more and shows a diagram of what's out there. Here it's talking about the fly rod and fly reel, talking about different things, or at least a price range to think about, $50 all the way to $1,000. Let's see. From an average Joe standpoint, if I'm getting started fly fishing, I don't think I'd spend $1,000. And if I really was not sure how much I'd like it, I'd probably see if I can get something a little bit cheaper. And that's kind of what got me to bringing up this $33 Amazon challenge. I did a series on that where I bought this Martin fly rod. And it turned out to be a real good, well, I have it as a backup fly rod now, even though I still have a bunch of other rods. Came with the full kit and everything. So if I was just wanting to get started, what do I need? It's all there in that kit. But let's go further down and let's see. Here it's giving a starter kit recommendation, and they're talking the Clearwater Orvis one, as well as it looks like the Orvis Encounter. It's a mix of some composite plastic and whatnot. Well, you can go that route as well. Let's see. Here I like the explanation of the fly backing, fly line, tippet, and leader. When I first started fly fishing, everything I learned was from a book, and it was good to have a diagram here showing what this stuff was, because it took me a while to figure it out. But in the end, right here, I like this video, or not video, but this diagram. Right here, this setup. So it talks of the setup that you would have and the different knots that you would use. So you have an arbor knot that would attach the backing to the reel itself, and that backing is going to be usually Dacron line, and it's like 20, 25, 30 pound test. You have the fly line itself, and that's in a weighted variety. So depending on the fly rod you use, let's say you have a 5-weight fly rod, then you want to have a 5-weight fly line. And then in there, it's talking about the leader, the tippet, and the fly. So that's that section that's going to be at the tip of your fly line, and you'll use it to, well, it'll allow the fly to land in a better, softer landing onto the water. Okay, so I did like this one. It talks about the different knots. The nail knot in particular, that's one that I kind of have an affinity to because I use it a lot. In fact, I'll show that later. Here's a old infographic that I put together way back when about don't cut your fly line. In here, there's different ways to attach your line to a or your leader to your fly line, and one of them entails cutting the line every time you need to replace the leader. What I do here is just talk about using the nail knot tying tool and a loop-to-loop connection. So I'll talk about that here in a moment. Okay, so here's that fly fishing setup again, putting it all together. Let's go back up now in the article and see what else they talk about. They were talking about the fly rod and reel. One big takeaway when it comes to getting advice, or at least going to a fly shop and getting some information about what fly rod and reel combo to set up. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity out there that you can use an existing combo. What I suggest when you meet up, be it ask a question online, or if you go to a fly shop, you want to point out give the details of what you plan on doing when you're fly fishing. What fish are you targeting in particular? Additionally, what is the area you'll be fishing? Is it going to be more river fishing versus pond fishing? So you want to have that, and then definitely want to let them know about that fish, because depending on the size of fish that you're pursuing, they may recommend a different size weight. But in general, when I first started, I got what was on sale, and it's, let's see, I can show you real quick. Right up there is a set of rods that I've had over the years. They're various fiberglass ones that I got, and I think they were like 7 and 8 weight rods, and I used them way back when. They're very heavy. They're probably let me see, about maybe 30 years old in some cases, and I kind of hang them up now because you got a whole bunch of better opportunity, especially these combos that are out there. Because when I first started, you didn't really have a combo that you have, or the combos available that you have today. And so speaking of what combo, or at least what to start with, if you let whoever you're asking know that this is the fish that I'm targeting, then they can adjust and see or give a good suggestion as to what you want to start out with. Me personally, I like the 5-weight fast action 9-foot rod combos that are out there. That's kind of like a go-to one that covers the fishing that I do, typically some trout fishing in a river, pond fishing for bass, bluegill, and then the occasional striped bass. I've used the 5-weight for striped bass over there up at Denison Dam, and brought in like a 26, 27 incher or something. I've also lost some too. And so 5-weight's a good start one. What I notice when other folks are first starting out and they'll just immediately jump to like a heavy 8-weight or 9-weight, or I mean really heavy fly rod, and when you're first starting out, you want something that you'll use often and it doesn't tire you out. That 5-weight is a really good one to start with. Currently I'm using a 6-weight, and it's mainly because it gives me an extra backbone if I do get a bigger fish. But again, that 5-weight is not gonna stop you for catching some of those bruisers that are out there. All right, so going through this article again, let's go back here. They talk flies. I do like this one where they're talking to different fishing flies, dry flies, nymphs, streamers. Me in particular, when I'm out there, I'll typically have a dry fly. I do carry some nymphs and those streamers. In the case of the dry flies, especially pond fishing, uh, it's called the Betts Brim Getter. That one's a real nice one that they use for bluegill and bass. For trout, the Cahill, I think that's what it's called. That one is a good one to have, as well as some little midges, black midges and whatnot that the fish will tend to strike. So you definitely want to have some flies, nymphs, because when they're hatching on the surface, those trout will be poking away at it. And then, oh, by the way, bluegill like those nymphs as well. So hey, it's good to have that as well. Let's say you are maybe strapped for some cash and you only get basically a fly or a few flies, and you don't really want to spend too much. Then get you a streamer, specifically the olive woolly bugger. That one is a pretty good one to use. Let's see if I can find one real quick. Let's go on Google and I'll do a search on woolly bugger. Okay. Oh, and there it is. Let's see if I can bring it in a little bit. Let's go to the images. Okay, so here's a black one. Here's an olive one. The olive one seems to work very well for me. They've got it in the beadhead variety. There's others where it won't have that bead, but they'll still have some weight in there because they'll put some wire lead and give it enough weight to slowly sink. It mimics all kinds of fish or bait fish, as well as other terrestrials that may be coming up off the bottom floor of wherever you're fishing. So that's always a good one to have, and I do like what they were saying here about these fishing flies. So streamers are designed to mimic aquatic life as well as, but larger than nymphs. Typically, leeches, streamers are also referred to as lures. Oh well. Let's see. Going on, what else do you need? Other miscellaneous fly fishing accessories. Fly fishing net. Yes, I do agree. You do want to have that, because that tippet that you're using, maybe a small pound test, and that fish can definitely break it. Polarized sunglasses, you definitely want to have those because you'll be using it to see whatever activity is happening in the water, be it fish, especially trout. Like you're working a river, a lot of times you can just kind of start walking down the bank and you'll see those shadows and whatnot, and that's giving you an indication that maybe you should stop and try fishing there. Fly fishing vests, there's different things you can use, like a fly fishing vest that you can buy, be it on Amazon or your local fly shop. Other ones, you have these fly fishing chest waders or fly fishing, I think, chest thing. In fact, I use two different fly fishing vests. Let me see if I can show you real quick. Okay, there's this one. And this is one that I picked up off Amazon, and I really it's for fly fishing, but I actually use it for storing a bunch of other things, and I use it for fishing as well as when I'm doing my videos. I'll have some extra gear in there for, be it batteries, an extra camera and whatnot, and so that's worked out really well. But in the case of a fly fishing vest, they also have them where the one that I use when I'm actually out, be it in a river or in the field and whatnot, is I'll use one that the vest actually comes just above your waist, and it's meant to, if you're going to be out wading in a river, it's going to keep that vest out of the water for you. So let's see, let's go do a quick search on fly fishing vest. Fly fishing vest. I'm just doing an image search in Google. All right, so there's all kinds. You can see here, there's one that's got a whole bunch of fancy stuff in there. There's another one that kind of looks like the one that I have here, that I use as a dual purpose one for video gear as well as fly fishing gear, as well as other things. Here's that chest pack that I mentioned. I think this is like an over shoulder sling pack also. So there's a whole bunch of different things, and like the article was saying, you definitely want to have a fly fishing vest to carry all your gear, because especially when you're in a river, you want to be able to access things quickly, be it your fishing material, as well as maybe the scissors or snippers, as well as maybe some forceps, because you got a fish on, you need to take them off. Waders, if you're going to be fishing colder areas, like now, like where we're at now, you definitely want to get waders. There's different ones. I have 3 sets of waders. One's they're called hip waders. Let me see if I can go ahead and go back on to do another Google image search here. And let's try hip waders. Okay. All right, so I have a pair of hip waders. Let's see if I can find it right here. This kind of looks like it. Right here, it only goes. You wear your normal pants and whatnot, and you attach it with your belt, and it just goes up to basically one on each leg. I use the one that I use wading boots. So these are hip waders. This one has the built-in boot with the wader. The ones that I use is a stocking foot one, and then I wear a separate boot or wading boot with it. Okay, so there's that. Let's see. The other one that I use is a chest wader, or actually it's a pant wader. So this one just goes up to my waist. Let's see. This one's with boots. Okay. Yeah, here's one. In fact, that's the one that I have. It's the Cabela's Premium breathable stocking waders. Okay. So definitely have some waders. You can also have some chest ones. I do have some chest waders. They're the neoprene variety, and the reason I do that is when it's really cold, especially when it's freezing, I like to have those waders, because especially if I get wet and whatnot. In fact, here's one of them right here. But I have the stocking foot one again instead of the ones with the built-in boot. For those that are online, hey, which one do you prefer? I prefer the stocking foot ones, mainly because my wading boots I've had for years, or the wading shoes I've had for years, and I like that I can just flip-flop between the 3 different waders that I do have. All right, let's get back to the article here. So again, to recap, there are other accessories to have when you need to go fly fishing: a net, polarized sunglasses, fly fishing vest, and waders. So good stuff. I do like also how they described the fly fishing setup and putting everything all together, right? And with that, let me see, other things to get started: the basic fly fishing cast. Okay, so you can watch YouTube, you can get with a buddy or someone who fly fishes. A lot of times there are instructors. You get free lessons in some cases, like Cabela's, and I think Bass Pro Shops and local fly shops offer some demos. There's some fishing clubs. I know the Dallas Fly Fishers, as well as the Texas, or the one in Fort Worth Fly Fishers. I think they all offer the like introductory fly casting seminars, where you can come over to a location that they post, and you can run over there and get a quick lesson on fly fishing. All right, and I also like what this article says about the basic cast, and it's actually saying 2 things. It's saying learn your overhead cast. Okay, so that's your traditional overhead cast where you see people in a river and you see them on movies, or maybe river runs through it, where you're seeing someone cast and it's going back and forth. Well, that's, believe what they're saying about the overhead cast. That's one of the basic casts. The other one to have in your back pocket is, it's not showing here, but you do want to have in your back pocket is the roll cast, because when you can't cast back and have a back cast to go and set your forward cast, a roll cast is your next cast to learn. So definitely want to learn those 2 casts, and then you should be good to go. One other thing that I did mention in one of my videos is sometimes you'll get stuck and you'll get frustrated about fly fishing. You're not able to get the cast and whatnot. So one of the things I suggest is use less line. Just take out a length of your rod, and let's say add the leader to it. So on a 9-foot setup, you have a 9-foot rod, you have 9 foot of leader, and then take out 9 foot of line of the fly line itself and fish with that and see how that works. And I did one demo where I'm working a particular pond and I'm catching everything that's pretty much within that distance, and I'm not having to cast further than that, and I'm still enjoying having a good old time. So if you take up fly fishing and you're starting to get frustrated, try doing less line and see how that works out for you, and catch more, or at least catch a fish, and you'll continue to give it a shot. And as you continue to fish and fish, you'll get better and better. And I think that's what it said here. Let's see. Final tips. I think it was in a different one. It was basically practice, practice, practice. Well, yeah, it's always good. Easier to practice is when you're catching fish. All right, so let me take you to some suggestions. Okay, so here I did a series called "Get It Started Fly Fishing," the $33 Amazon Fly Fishing Challenge. And what I was doing there was I wanted to show that to get started fly fishing, you don't have to break the bank. You can get some good starter rod reel setups out there. And in this case, it's not the greatest, but for 33 bucks, I can at least give it a try and see if I'm interested in it. And so I tried it. It came with the rod, the reel, the fly line, the backing, let's see, the leader, and it came with, I think it was like 5 or 6 fishing flies, and I was able to catch fish with every single one of those. So for 33 bucks, it would have been nice to just say, hey, this is something I want to pursue further. And then the other thing that I want you to take away from when you are getting started, and excuse me, here's one that I started doing this because way back when I was reading the old fly fishing books at the public library, they talked about setting up your own leader, a tapered leader, and in there it's basically you're using a barrel knot and a perfection loop, and you're doing different size weights of line to create your leader. You can buy one, but they definitely got expensive lately. I think they're like $9-10 in some cases. And so what I've been doing for about 20 years now is I've been doing this, my do-it-yourself fly line or fly leader. And all I'm doing is taking a section of 30-pound tests. I think it was a 15 or 17-pound, 12, and then using just some Stren 6-pound test as the tippet material, and that worked out really good for me. So that was good. And then the other thing I like to take away from is don't cut your fly line. And what I was describing in this video was talking about how I'm using a nail knot tying tool. And let me see if I can kind of jump through here. Let's see. Okay, just trying to get it to one section that makes sense here. Okay, right here. This is the nail knot tying tool. Okay, and what that does is when you first get your fly line, some will come with a loop where you can do a loop-to-loop connection with your fly leader, and other cases you may not have that loop-to-loop connection because your fly line doesn't have that end loop. And so what I've been doing, I've got a whole set of line that I bought at a discount way back when Gander Mountain was selling them for real cheap. I think it was in Corsicana, Texas. They've since closed, but I got like 20 fly lines for a discount price, unbelievable discount, and none of them had the loop connection. And so what I started doing was I would use a nail knot, the traditional nail knot, where you attach the leader to the fly line using that nail knot. And in this case, I was using a nail knot tool. And then from there, you would go ahead and fish. Well, what I didn't like was I'd have to cut that knot and that leader off if I wanted to put a new leader on. And after a while, you're snipping and snipping, and you're losing line every time. So what I have since done, and I do that with everything I use if it doesn't have that loop end loop, is I take a section of 30-pound mono, make a perfection loop on one end to start that loop-to-loop connection, and then I'll take the other end and attach that to the fly line with a nail knot. And at that point, I'm able to not have to cut my line anymore. I'm using that fly, or I'm using the loop-to-loop connection. So let me see if I can run this video real quick and see if that gives you, like a video gives you a better idea. So let's try that.
To tie a nail knot. Take the thick end of your
and hold the wrap securely with your forefinger.
We also found the YouTube video showing how to tie the perfection loop.
There's a quick and easy perfection loop for using in the end of your leaders.
Okay, so that was that one section describing in the video the different knots. Still trying to find the one that, oh, here we go. This may be a better idea. So here's where I've wrapped that line, and I'm setting up for that nail knot. And in this case, I'm just trying to get to the one where you can get an idea of a loop-to-loop connection. Let's see. Oh well. Let's well, why don't I just show you? Can you give me a second? Okay, I'm back. All right, so here's what I mean. This is the rod that I currently use. It's a TFO 6-weight rod with the Echo Ion 6.7 reel. And here is the connection I was describing right here. So I have a nail knot attached to the fly line, and then right here is a perfection knot that is making a loop-to-loop connection to the leader itself now. So now, before I was cutting my line right here and then replacing it with a new leader with another nail knot connection. But now, because I keep this section on here all the time, I have a loop. I'm able to do a loop-to-loop connection, and I don't have to cut this line anymore. All right, give me a second here. We lost video. All right, we're back. Okay, so that's really all I had this round about what do I need to get fly fishing, and we're talking fly fishing, and right here, just to describe what I was doing, I initially started with this question on Google: what do I need to fly fish? And saw the results, and in Google the results were showing, well, it turns out it's a this first one right here, that it returned results, fly fishing equipment list. This is a lodge, I think it's in Montana, that's describing what to bring. And from an average Joe perspective, yours truly is not going to be headed that way unless I win the lotto or something. But this next one, Fly Fishing for Beginners, a complete guide. This is the one that I just went over, and that was a really good one that provided some insight and whatnot on if I was getting started. I'd at least know where to start and get going fly fishing. And then from there, I just went and described a couple of things. One, if The $33 Getting Started in Fly Fishing Amazon Challenge. That's one where I just wanted to show again that you can fly fish, get started fly fishing. You don't have to break the bank. In fact, you can find some combos out there for a discount. In this case, I got it at less than 33 bucks off of Amazon. And I was able to catch a fish with all the flies on there, and I still have that rod and reel. It's a backup one that I use now. And then next thing I did then was just talk about some DIY, do-it-yourself fishing stuff, because fly fishing can get expensive. Excuse me. Can get expensive, and in this case, I'm just describing how I would do this fly fishing setup. In fact, if you got time, I can go ahead and run it, and maybe it'll pique some questions. So let me go ahead and run the video. 4 foot of 30-pound mono right here. This is 4 feet of 30-pound mono. There'll be 3.5 feet of 15-pound mono, and then 3 feet of 6-pound mono. And of the ones that we've used, here's one I've normally been using, the Trilene 30-pound mono. Also got a bunch of this Stren high impact monofilament mono 30-pound. Got 400 yards of it for a pretty good deal. Here's the 15-pound Stren, and this is high impact. Of the tippet portion, I definitely just sticking with the Stren mono, mainly because it's got low memory, and this one does roll really nicely. In the end, is once everything's tied, it'll be 3.5 foot of the 30-pound mono, 3 feet of the 15-pound mono, and 2.5 feet of the 6-pound mono, giving you a 9-foot tapered leader. It's going to be knotted, so in those times, especially when the cottonwood trees are shedding their little fluffy things, you may need to go back to a knotted or knotless tapered leader. But for the most part, I've been able to use this throughout the season. Worked for trout, worked for bass, worked for bluegill. They're not picky, at least in our area. Less than $1 to put one of these together. The main thing you have to do is buy the material at first. Like, I think I ended up spending like 20-something bucks for this stuff, and then the tippet rings were like $8. Other than that, I've got enough to go for a good while. All right, so let's get started. Okay, the first thing they'll do is tie these pieces together. The 30-pound and the 15-pound. We'll be using a barrel or blood knot, and you can look online how to do it. It's real simple. Just put the two together and you'll be ready to go. What I'll do is I'll overlap the two lines in case the 30 and the 15-pound about a foot over each other, and then I'll grab it in the middle, and that's where I'll start my blood knot or barrel knot. And just tighten it up here after lubing it with a little saliva, and there we go. There's the first section. By overlapping it by a foot, it basically cuts off that 6 inches, which will get us the length that we wanted for both here shortly. And you can, if you want, put maybe some super glue or maybe some UV glue to just make it a little bit more smoother transition. I tend to just leave it as is and not worry about it. So the next thing is we'll tie in the tippet ring and a perfection loop. The tippet ring is going to go on the 15-pound test. The perfection loop is going to go on the 30-pound test tag end. If you don't want to use a tippet ring, then just repeat the same thing you did with the blood knot or barrel knot with that 6-pound test, and you'll be good to go. And here I'm just getting a, here I'm just prepping a perfection loop. You can look online how to make one. I just got used to doing it over the years, so be done here shortly. All right, perfection loop. You just got to trim the tag end. Okay, next up, we're going to take the 15-pound test, and we're going to attach it to one of the tippet rings. In this case, this is a small tippet ring. It's a 2mm 25-pound test one that we picked up. I have different sizes, small. I think there's like medium and large. I tend to use a small one because where I'm fishing, I'm mainly just fishing for some smaller guys, and I'm using this 6-pound tippet, so no biggie there. And when you get ready to do this, don't take the tippet ring off the swivel that it comes with, little snap swivel. Instead, tie your line onto the thing that's closest to the opening, tie it on there, and then at that point take it off and tie in the 6-pound test. So if you try taking it off now and try tying it, it's going to be very tough to tie it on there. So keep it on the swivel when you tie it. Okay, so there it is. I've got the tippet ring attached to the 15-pound mono, and still have the tag end, and you can see I can take it off the swivel no problem. So at this point you'll take it off the swivel and then attach the 6-pound test. So it's off the swivel now. I still have the tag end, and I kind of like leaving the tag end on there until I get the 6-pound test on there, and then we'll clean it up. So there it is. Got an improved clinch knot is what I use to attach the 15-pound test to the tippet ring, and then I used a tri-lean knot on the 6-pound test, and it tends to hold better. I'll clean this up, and you can do, again. Okay, so that's give you an idea of what I mean about making this your own fly leader, fly fishing leader, and save you a buck or two. All right, let's see. Let's go shift over to this $33 getting started in fly fishing, and let's see if I can give you some insight there as to what's happening in this video. On challenge specifically, we picked up a Martin fly rod and reel combo for $32. Actually, like a little bit over $32 with the tax. I think it's like, but it's still under 33. And let me show you what we got. It came with the fly reel and a fly rod. The reel is rated at 4 to 6 weight line. The line is saying it's a 6 weight. And then the rod itself is a 5 to 6 weight. And I haven't tried it out yet, but just some overall impressions to get us started. One, hey, we're going to be fishing with this thing for $32 and getting to fly fishing. So I wanted to just show that you can get into this sport, at least this technique in fishing, without having to spend a lot of money on it. And oh, by the way, I got a little weakness for Martin fly reels. I had one of these way back when I first started. In fact, my first fly reel was a Martin fly reel, and I don't have that anymore, but I do have the second one, which is a Martin fly reel in this variety. All right, and it's about 40 years old. In one of the videos, I noticed someone was saying that the one that came from Amazon didn't have a drag. Well, it doesn't have a drag. It has a rim that you can palm with your hand, as well as a click pawl drag. So this is what they mean. This little clicky sound here. This basically is just something to keep the line from overrunning. This is a 40-year-old Martin. Well, guess what? The newer Martin, in this case right here, it does have that click drag also, or click pawl right here. Just click it there. If it goes without it, it's going to spin freely without any noise. If it goes with it, you'll hear that clicky sound. And the way it comes, it's made for a right hand cast and left hand retrieve. I'm one of those ones where I cast with my right hand and then I also retrieve my right hand. So I'm going to go and flip this around, take the line off, and put it so I can put it in the way I like doing it, which is right here. So right here. So I retrieve in my right, and I also cast with my right hand. The thing is, it does come with a fly line, or the fly line, as well as a tapered leader. I think this is a level line, so it may be a little tough for some folks to get used to instead of the way forward one. I may probably put an OPST Skagit head. I've got one that'll be probably one that'll work really well with this. The other thing is with the tapered leader that it comes with, I usually make my own. I'll put another video out on this one that I use. It's a simple recipe: 30-pound mono strand, 15-pound mono strand, and then 4 or 6-pound mono strand for the tippet or fluorocarbon, depending on how I feel. And then I also use tippet rings. So yeah, again, I'll show you that. But that's just a way to cut down on having to buy these tapered leaders. They go for like $9 to $12 now, and I'll have like a whole season, if not multiple seasons supply, with just having these mono strand that I pick up. So here it is. It's plastic. Right here, it's got a plastic reel seat. It's fairly tight and does feel like, you know, pretty big. It's fiberglass. And overall, hey, gonna look forward to trying this out. It also comes with
flies. I think I've seen some other unboxings, and bottom line, there's a popper, there's a woolly bugger, looks like some kind of light Cahill, a pheasant tail, and then a muddler minnow, and then a yarn for some as a strike indicator. So technically with just under $33, 32 bucks, you can probably get started fly fishing as is with this material here. So I'm going to start out the series with just going straight as is, other than the one change I'm going to make, which is flip that reel around. And then other things I want to point out, it comes with a little instruction book about fly tying right here, or fly fishing. So that's a good one to keep in your back pocket if you've never been exposed to it. I've read these things over the years, and so I'm sure it's got maybe some new stuff I'll have to take a look at. On the back, it talks about the arbor knot. That's one that you use to tie in the backing to the arbor or the fly reel. And then it uses a uni knot, one to backing to the fly line, and then also doing the same thing from the, it looks like the leader to the fly line as well. And yeah, I mean, you could do that. I've used the uni knot before for many things, but I tend to use a nail knot, and I'll do a loop-to-loop connection. So I'll show that in another video, but bottom line, I'll take a nail knot tool and nail knot a section of 30-pound test and use it like a strike indicator for that line, or line strike indicator, or I'll just use just a piece of mono and just use that as a means to attach it to the fly line. In fact, here, I think I have one right here. So what I did is I take a section of 30-pound stren, I do a nail knot, about maybe a foot long, and then I make a perfection loop and basically cut it down to about maybe 6 inches or so. And then now I have a loop on the end of my fly line, and then I'll take my tapered leader, either if I buy it or make it myself, and I'll create a loop-to-loop connection here. I'll show more video on how I do that. Over the years, it's been saved me some money in fly fishing, because we're trying to show that we can do things on the cheap when it comes to getting started in fly fishing. And oh, by the way, I'll probably use this popper. This is that Betts hand-tied popper that I picked up at Walmart the other day, and I've been using. I think I put this in my last video where I used the 40-year-old combo here and caught a bass or two with this baby. So I'll have initially the equipment that came with the kit, so 33 bucks or so. And then I'll add in my own popper, hand-tied popper, so that'll be an extra cost there. That, but I'll point that out. And then let's see, I'll make my own do-it-yourself leader so that I can show you that you don't have to spend a lot of money on buying it yourself. And then I'll just flip that reel around so it goes the way I like it. I mean, if you can cast with your right hand, retrieve with your left hand. That's fine. I just have a preference for that. All right, so with that, do check back. The Martin fly reel rod combo, fiberglass, picked up for just under $33 off Amazon. And we're calling it Getting Started Fly Fishing, the Amazon Challenge.
Karma is a smart shopping app that saves you so much money, it will blow you.
Alrighty, so that was pretty fun. Little. Okay, give me a second here, real quick. Okay, that was pretty fun challenge or series to put together, and did learn a few things. I see we're getting some questions. Let's go run through them real quick. Let's see. One is, any tips for saltwater fly fishing? I responded back that what are you fishing for in saltwater? And then looks like Ricardo came back with Central America, Pacific side though. And really my background in the Pacific has been way back when I was on the West Coast over here in California, and I did my fly fishing mainly for surf perch. And one of the big takeaways that I noticed fishing saltwater because of the wind is I did like having a shooting head. Back then I didn't have the OPST commando head. I just went with a saltwater taper as well as a weight forward line. And because I was fishing surf perch, 5-6 weights were fine. The other thing is I do suggest a sealed bearing, or at least a sealed reel. The Echo Ions I have, they don't have sealed drags or whatnot, but they do clean up nicely and work out well. I do have an Orvis that has a sealed drag, as well as a Lamson Waterworks one, and both of those I tend to use in salt water. And you know, I kind of beat up my stuff, so I'll just rinse it off at the end of the day, and then when I do finish up that trip, then I'll come back to it. Let's see. The other one was, do you use your micro fly rods anymore? Does the short rod length pretty much limit you to fishing on local ponds for panfish and small bass, and ever catch trout on one? Yes, I still use my micro fly rods. I do keep one actually in my backpack for work. And then does the short rod length limit the local ponds for panfish? Yeah, it does. Really haven't fished it at a large lake and whatnot. And then do I ever catch trout on? I did. I have caught trout with it. I think it was back at Waterloo. And for those that don't understand what we're talking about, this is Eric. He's one of our well, thanks Eric for the support. Definitely like your comments as well as questions. But for those that are unsure of what we're talking about, the micro fly rod, let me go grab several here real quick and show you what we mean. All right, I'm back. Okay, so what I'm talking about, the micro fly rod is these things right here. All right, okay, and what it is it's a pen fishing rod reel that came with this or some other kind of reel, and I ended up buying these. The place went out of business, but I've got a bunch of these little mini fly reels, and this one's a telescoping one right here. Breaks down, and then you can extend it out as needed. And I've got some videos on there. Just do like the search micro fly rod COAF, and it should show up in the channel, and you'll see how I've used these. And this is one, a very simple one that I modified to make a little micro fly rod. And then here's another one. This one is a little bit different than the other one. It does telescope, okay, but I replaced the tip as well as I replaced the rod guides, because in the pen fishing rod, those rod guides are so small you can't get the fly line through it, and so you end up getting the nail knot or whatever knot you're using, it kind of hangs up in there. So by doing this, I was able to use more line, as well as actually could just reel it all the way up to the end. And I've got some good fish with this one, and you can tell it's just real simple. In this case, I just zip tied it, and it's holding. All right. And then this is the one that I kind of use more often than not. This is when I broke an 8-weight fly rod way back when, and I replaced it. I repurposed it by taking the top two sections and adding the reel seat from that pen reel fly fishing outfit. And this is one that I've used pretty much in a lot of my videos right here. And works out really nice. The short length doesn't stop you from being able to cast. Just keep casting just like normal, and you should be able to go. You just got to time your cast a little bit different. And then if you extend your arm out, that kind of extends the rod itself, so you can get a better cast as well. But had a lot of fun with this one as well. And then another one that I put together because it was one winter and got a hold of some of these rod blanks right here for ice fishing. So this is an ice rod right here, the blank. Added my own rod guides, tip, and I use this, I think it was I forgot who makes this, but it's a reel seat that just clips and you can undo this and take your reel off. So there, like that. All right, and I just attached it here. These are wine corks, as well as the butt is a champagne cork, and the rest are wine corks that I put together to make I call it the wine cork micro fly rod. All right, this is a fun one too. But a lot of times you may find yourself wanting to do some micro fly rod fishing, and what I did once was I took an Orvis Practicaster, came with its own line for practicing, and I zip tied a reel here, and I was using this, and I got several videos of me fishing this. So if you're like, you really want to get started micro fly fishing, well, get you an Orvis Practicaster and put a 2-3 weight line or a reel on here, zip tie it in place, and you're ready to go. I think I see some questions coming in. Let's see. Okay, stripping basket helps in the surf. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Let's see. What weight fly line you use for the micro fly rod? Okay, so in the case of the weight fly line, you can pick up like a 2-weight line on Amazon, and you can use that. Get to the thin section, but what I typically do is I'll get some old 5-weight fly line, and I'll get to the thin running section, and I'll snip those up and use those for my fly line. What weight it is, I'm guessing maybe a 1 or 0. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I think I answered all the questions. All right, cool, nice. Okay, so that's pretty much all I had here. Other than now, it's just like a open Q&A. If anyone wants to hear anything or see anything more or have any questions, definitely ask. Here, while I'm waiting, maybe I'll look for, see if I can find that one fly rod on the micro fly rod piece and show you what I mean. So COAF micro fly, just say micro fly and see what that does. Okay, micro fly rods, telescoping micro fly rod. Casting a micro fly rod demo. That was a good one to show that yes, you can cast with it, and this is the different ones that I have, showing the different ones along with the ones where I zip tied the Orvis Practicaster, and I think it was one of my 3-weight Ross reels. So let me open this one up real quick. I'll let the ad run. But what's going to show here is just the different rods that I have from a micro fly fishing standpoint, and I'll give you an idea of what I was doing. So let me run that one real quick. Let me get the audio started, and let's see if you have any questions there, or maybe other things may pop up.
AF field team, and this round we finally got around to get our micro fly rods together. So we're going to do a little quick test. This is a micro fly rod that's telescoping, and it has our own rod guides to make it a little bit wider to allow the line to go through, because the original line guides were kind of narrow. Then we have the 2-piece micro fly rod. So this is out of that 8-weight that broke, and now we made it into a micro fly rod using the top section. Okay, and then next up is the wine cork and ice fishing blank one. All right, so this is handles made out of wine cork, and this is an ice fishing handle blank. And we're going to try this one out just to show you how it casts. And then next up is the practice fly rods. We got 2 of them. This is the Redington Form, where we actually put a normal size fly reel. This is a 4-weight on this little guy. And then lastly, we've got the Orvis Practicaster with a 2-weight 2-3 Echo Ion fly reel. All right, and we're going to give that one a try. And so stay tuned. We're just marked off like a 25-foot distance, and it's a little windy out there, so it may be a little bit tough, but we're going to give it a shot just to give you an idea how these things cast. Okay, so here are the micro fly rods that we're going to be demoing today. We've got the little telescoping one here, right there. And then we have the 2-piece that we made from that 8-weight fly rod, the wine cork and ice fishing blank rod that we made, and then the Redington Form practice fly rod, and then the Orvis Practicaster practice fly rod. And we're going to just we marked off 25 feet right here, and all we're going to do is just give it a shot once we move that little plastic thing over there. All right, here we go. Okay, let's start off with the 2-piece, or correction, the telescoping fly rod. Okay, this is that one that telescopes. And we just got these little practice fly line deals here. It is a little windy, but oh, by the way, here is the telescoping ability for this one. So let's go ahead and just show you that. So it fits a little small deal like that. Not bad, huh? Not bad. All right, so let's go ahead and just take it back out. It's not very big at all, but again, we have these new rod guides that we added so that it allows us a little bit more line to freely flow through the rod guides. And so let's go ahead and take out some line and let's get it started. All right, so we got it there. Just watch wind behind us, or I mean the tree behind us, but I think we can get it pretty close. Yeah, I think we got it pretty close. Let's go try it again. Yeah, I think we got it. I think we can get this. So we're pretty much coming at the end of the line, so there's no more line. And we just got it maybe short by maybe 5 feet, 4 feet. Let's try it again. All right. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it'll make it. It's just we ran out of line. Go ahead and just pop it up and go. There it is. Pop it up and go. Pop it up and go. And it's a fun rod, see? Alright, so that was the telescoping micro fly rod. Alright, next up is a 2-piece fly rod. And this is that micro fly rod made out of an 8-weight that we broke. It's the top 2 sections. And let's go ahead and get this one ready. All right, let's give it a try. Okay, so the other one was short, about maybe 3 feet or so, because we ran out of line, but we're pretty sure we could have got the 25-foot. So let's just get this one started. There we go. There we go. It'll hit it. Yep, right there. There, I went well past it. All right, pop it up. All right.
Gotta give it a few on the ad runs.
All right, try it again. All right, there it is again, past it. Oh, and this time we got the tree. Bummer. Luckily there's no hook on it. All right, let's do it again. Okay, right there. All right, there we go. All right, let's try it again. There we go. Pah. All right, so that is 2-piece micro fly rod. Go ahead and bring this baby in, and this one will break down into 2 pieces. So the other one was telescoping. This one breaks down into 2 pieces, and we'll just show you here in a moment. what we mean. This one breaks down into 2 pieces. All right, very compact. Okay. Okay, and next up is the ice fishing blank. Okay, so it's got a wine cork handle that we made, and we put in a Fuji clip style rod, I don't know what it's called, rod seat, and then this is a B&M, I think, yeah, B&M crappie reel, and an ice fishing blank. I think this is the heavier one that you can catch walleye, I think, and some bigger fish with it, supposedly. Got it from Jan's Net Craft, so let's go ahead and try this one out. This one's a little bit stiffer than the other ones, but it's just a timing piece that you got to get used to. Once you have the timing down on it, then it casts fairly easy. Well, tangled. Let's get away from that. Alright, so that one's coming up easily. There we go. It's going to hit the 23 or the 25 foot mark. Oh, we're actually at the end of the line too, so just like that first one, this one will max out right there, right at the end. But it's still fun knowing that you do have the capability of getting it out there. There it is again. There it is again. Alright, easily 25 feet. Okay, so that was the wine cork micro fly rod made with an ice fishing blank and wine corks, because yours truly likes wine, and we've caught some fish with this baby. And these are ones that we made because, well, I think the ones that we saw that you had to, or that were available to buy, cost a little bit more than what we wanted to pay for. All right, so there's the 3. Now we're going to the ones with the normal size fly reel. So we got the Redington form with a 4-weight fly reel and a 4-weight line, and then we have the Orvis Practicaster with a 2-3 weight, actually about more like a 2-weight with a 2-weight line. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Redington form, and this one comes in 2 pieces right there, so it's very compact as well. And since they don't come with their own reel seats, we just zip tie it here, and it seems to hold pretty good. All right, let's give it a shot. We just got to move a little bit back here. And this one easily makes the 25 foot mark. Right there, it's going past it. All right, I can shoot it by kind of come over a little bit. There it is again. Let's try it again. So we're kind of weaseling it through the trees there, but we're still able to hit it. So that one, we've cast further than the 25 feet. I think it's, well, we've cast a lot further than 25 feet. But you can see that this rod is definitely a quick do-it-yourself micro fly rod and reel combo. But in this case, we're using a full-size reel right here. All right, so let's go try another one. All right, last on the agenda is the Orvis Practicaster, and this one doesn't break into 2. Okay, and it's fairly short, just maybe about 3 feet or less. And let's go and try this one. This is the one that we're using a foam popper and scud combo, and it's a shorter rod, but we can definitely feel that it shoots line fairly well. So that's easily hitting the 25 foot mark, and just like the Redington form, even though it's a shorter rod, we feel that it'll definitely go past 25 feet, probably more like 30, 35. Okay, so that's it right there. Let's do it again. Okay. All right, play with it again here. It's more like a timing thing. You let the line straighten out behind you, and it easily, you can shoot it forward, just like that. Oh, I hit a tree. All right, let's kind of walk it back a little. There we go. So that's easily making 25 feet. There we go again. Got a tree behind us, but we're able to get it past it. There we go. All right, so that is the Orvis Practicaster micro fly rod, impromptu do-it-yourself micro fly rod combo. Just got a normal size, just says 2-3 weight Echo Ion fly reel.
Alrighty, that was a fun demo. It was a windy day. Luckily, it was at crosswind, and I was still able to show that you still can cast at least 20-something plus feet when you're out there fishing with one of these micro fly rods. So we're still live. It looks like we got a few folks on still. I still have time. I can keep going. Maybe prompt you to ask some more questions. Let's see. This next one I'd like to show you is it's the nail knot tying tool, but I'm using I call it the simple line strike indicator. And so what happens is I'm using a Dacron backing line, or in other cases a heavier Dacron backing line for that loop-to-loop connection. And sometimes I'll apply some fly line dressing, or some dry fly dressing to make it float, and I use that as the indicator instead of a traditional indicator like your thingamabobs or your corks and other Doros and whatnot. So let me show you that video and see if that might pique your interest. Okay.
A line strike indicator in lieu of using a strike indicator, or your traditional strike indicator. What we've done is we've wrapped the line about 4 or 5 times around the end of the tool, and then we run this line through those loops, and now we're just kind of cinching up on it. And then what we'll do is we'll take the fly line, run it through, and then the front end here. And then the important part is to make sure you do this quickly and pull, keeping a good handle or tension on this side of the line, and we just pull, and there you go. Now we haven't tightened it all the way. You still have a ability to move it up and down the fly line, but once you do have it in place, before you tighten down on it, tighten on the Dacron fly line backing first, and then you can come back and tighten on the Dacron backing, fly line backing, and then the fly line itself, and there you have it. And all you do is then trim off the excess, and you'll have your first part of the line strike indicator. The next thing we'll do is we'll cut about a length about a foot long to about 1.5 feet long of that fly line backing, and we'll go ahead and trim up the ends. And then what we'll do is we'll tie a perfection loop, and that will be our loop-to-loop connection for our line strike indicator. All right, we'll just cinch that up, and there we go. The end result is the line strike indicator made of that Dacron fly line backing, attached with a nail knot to your fly line, and then a perfection loop that'll provide the loop-to-loop connection that you'll use to attach to your leader itself. Put some line dressing here, and what you can do is it'll sit on top of the water, and as it sits on top of the water, you can notice any movement, twitches, whatnot. I'd like to demonstrate how we're using the line strike indicator that we showed earlier. It's just a piece of Cabela's fly line backing, Dacron line, about 20-pound test. got a nail knot on this end, and we've got a perfection loop on this end, and then a loop-to-loop connection to our leader. And we've also applied a little line dressing to it, and you can see that the indicator floats on the top of the water, and we can watch it and pay attention to it and treat it just like a normal indicator for us.
Also, we noticed a number of YouTube videos that are available to show how to use the nail knot tying tool.
And we're going to tie this onto the tip of our fly line. The first thing...
Portland, tie fast, not tire, to tie a nail knot. Take the thick end of your...
and hold the wrap securely with your forefinger.
We also found the YouTube video showing how to tie the perfection loop.
But there's a quick and easy perfection loop for using in the end of your leaders.
I give you an idea why we like having that tying tool on us, and actually I ended up writing a article on it, the do-it-yourself fly line leader article that went into more detail on how you make your own knotted fly line leaders, gives some recipes on how to tie those, and in there also how we attach a fly line to a leader, and specifically talking of this line strike indicator and how we came about to start using it. It's quick and simple to tie. It's a loop-to-loop connection, and doesn't require cutting of the fly line once you've got that nail knot in there. And also it does double duty as that strike indicator. And always good to be ready for these moments, like in this case.
Alright, yeah, I ended up losing a nice one. Oh well. But it's a good thing I had that nail knot tool, because I just went ahead and put another one on there. Let's see. Looks like we have some more people joining. All I'm doing at this point is just open Q&A. We initially went through some things of what do I need to get started fly fishing. And at this point, I'm just kind of playing it by ear. I do have to stop here a little bit, but let me show you one more video that might pique your interest. And this is one where there's one year I got asked about fly fishing presentations, and I decided to go and put a bunch of videos over the years together when I fished the Blue River, and basically answered the mail about fly fishing and what fly fishing presentations I was using when I was out there fishing for trout several seasons over and over. So let me get this one started here.
Balance Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team, and this round we've got some tips, some fly fishing presentations that you might want to keep in your back pocket when you head out to Blue, which, oh by the way, is getting stocked tomorrow. At least the put and take section of the Blue River. Catch and release section is going to be delayed a little bit, but when they do check out some of those nice sized bruisers that they'll have over there lurking in the river. All right, check out the presentations. Maybe you might catch a fish or two.
All right, and there's the John Deere right there. Simple fly. It works though, at least today. And there's the tandem rig we were talking about. Near deer, lead fly, John Deere, bouncing bottom and getting hits.
Okay, to show you what we're doing, we're casting upstream and we're kind of mending the line, making sure that the strike indicator is following the bubbles, so at least they're going at the same rate downriver. We know that we've got that dead drift that we're looking for, and setting the hook as soon as we see something strike. And in this case, we've got another trout on.
All right, that'll be number 3. 3 to the net. Let's see better. Get the net out. Come on. All right, there's number 3. All right, we may have dinner tonight.
Nice one. All right, there's a bite.
All right, I'll stop the video here just to explain what's happening. So this is just downriver from the island over there at the Hughes crossing, low water crossing on the Blue River. And what I'm doing is right over here, let me see if I can get my cursor, right up here is a bunch of rocks, and then the water's flowing over here, and then it's just kind of shooting past in this run, and the water's moving really fast. And what I've noticed is there's trout that are kind of hanging along these rocks waiting for something to pass by. And as long as I can get my fly into that fast water, I'm getting strikes. I've probably had like 3-4 misses before I actually get a trout throughout this period. I can't remember when I fished this one. This was several years back, but let's see if I can keep running the video and see if anything else pops up we want to comment on. Okay, so this is over by the island now, and I'm fishing downstream, and let's see, let me go ahead and run the video. Okay. Okay, so right here is that area that I'm fishing, and they're kind of lurking right back in here. And I'm fishing downstream. I'm letting the indicator, and I'm following the bubble line, or I'm following the bubbles and making sure my drift is matching that speed of the bubbles going by. And I'm setting the hook any indication of a strike, be it a little wiggle, it going completely under, or in some cases just a hesitation. Set the hook, and you should be able to, well, you have a better opportunity of catching one.
Let's bring it in, take a look at it. Nice little rainbow trout. And we started out with an indicator and that near deer, and then we had no hits other than some light strikes for about an hour. And then we went on to just downriver and started drifting. And you can see this one. This one went for the near deer. Saw something. We set the hook, bring them in. Alrighty. Not bad. Okay, so just worked our way downstream. We're going to start working this pool area. What we'll do is work the fly into these pools, and hopefully we'll hook up with a fish.
Okay, this one's interesting. Let me get the video or the audio working. So I'm up here fishing. So earlier in that one video, I was saying here's a set of rocks, and the water was running over it. In this video, this is where those rocks are, and I'm actually further downriver in this direction. And what I'm doing now is I'm fishing for a bunch of trout that are kind of hanging in this pocket right here. There's probably 15, 20 all in that little pocket. And what they want is the fly, and I believe I was using a tandem rig. So I've got a lead fly, streamer, and then a midge or some kind of nymph as a trailing fly. And if I get the speed right going through that drift, the trout are striking. If I don't, I'm getting they're turning away. And that went well for a good while I fished here. And I'm going to see if I can stop it. Okay, right here in this section here, that faster water. That earlier video, I was standing further down river, casting right to this fast section, and that's where I was noticing the trout were hanging by the rocks that were, and then they were popping in and out and grabbing anything that went by that looked edible. And so, and then up here, I'm fishing upstream, trying to work my fly into this pocket where all these trout are hanging out, and I'm fairly successful. All right, let me go ahead and run it some more, and then we'll wrap up things.
In and out, and paying close attention to the fly when we get the view of it, as well as the indicator, any twitch.
I didn't have the audio. Let me rerun that again.
To get that one in. Alrighty.
I think you should hear it now.
So we'll keep at it. Still working the pool area. Just big thing is we're having to put a little slack in the line, or a lot of slack in the line, to drive that rig through the money zone that we call it. They're kind of just hanging in a pocket. And you can see them with your polarized glasses just darting in and out, and paying close attention to the fly when we get the view of it, as well as the indicator, any twitch. We set the hook. In this case, you see that we set the hook. It wasn't there. We went ahead and recast, and was able to get another one to strike at it. Alright, so here's one. He's on the hook, and we're going to bring him in. A little quick underwater shot here of hopefully it coming into the net. Oh well, can't get him in all the time, but we did get this one in the net. Alright, cool stuff. So we try it again. This time we're going to work our way that indicator in that money zone, and hopefully get one to hit. See that we're having a recast, and pretty much mending the line, watching that indicator. Hopefully we get it to match the flow of the water, the bubbles, and we know that we've got the right set. And this guy's putting up a real good fight, got in the current, but luckily we got him there. And we'll go ahead and let this guy go. Alright, next up we're going to continue working the pool. Just paying close attention to our indicator, and here we go. Got another one on the line. So let's bring this guy in and hopefully get him to the net. Alrighty, he's in the net. So we'll keep at it, see if we can start working another area here. This one we're just working the fly downstream in this case, so sort of like a let it drift down, and we'll just keep working the rig, and just pay attention to the bubble or the indicator. Sure enough, there's the strike. Alright, so like we were doing here, all we were doing was drifting downstream, watching for any movement in the indicator. Also we were able to see the fly, so we would also see any movement in the fly itself, or maybe even the fly disappearing because the trout took it in its mouth, or maybe swiped at it. And so we'll go ahead and set the hook, and then hopefully we do get them to stay on the hook.
There may be comfort in the usual, but true discovery and remarkable.
Okay, let's see. We got a little ad here. I'll have to wrap up things here real quick. So those that were able to join today, really glad that you made it, and appreciate the comments, questions, and whatnot. And hopefully, hey, from an average Joe standpoint, learn to fish by our trials and errors, and hopefully this has been helpful for y'all. All right, and kind of liking this format. I am kind of having to work several things, but I can still do a little chatting while these videos are playing. So hey, stay tuned. Maybe we'll have a different subject for the next round, or if you can suggest one, definitely shoot in the comments. I'll be listening, I'll be looking, and well, till next time, good luck and good fishing.